let's talk about the society. Now, we are happy we have kids, all right?
Yeah.
But there are a group of people that have decided they do not want to have anything to do with kids.
Yeah.
And that is now where the discussion gets hotter. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to another episode of Faithoverfear. My name is Faith.
Welcome back. My name is John Tell. I'm going to start off by asking a very simple question. How do you find kids?
Now that I'm a parent, to sum it up, it's amazing.
Yeah.
For me, it's amazing because I planned for them, I wanted them, and I always imagined myself as a parent with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And that is what I have now. So despite the sleepless nights, despite the hardships, the tears, I find them pretty amazing. And it's an interesting journey. So I appreciate that fact that I am a parent and I'm able to raise 2 amazing boys. Yeah.
If I can pose the question to myself, I think I'd say it's a very interesting idea of having kids because personally, when I grew up as a young boy, I always thought of it. I always thought of it just to myself, how it would be when I have my own kids, or what changes would I make considering the kind of life that I was going through, the kind of issues that I was facing when I was a young boy. How would I do it differently when I became a parent? So for me, I felt and I knew that one day I would become a parent, and by God's grace, that actually happened. And we have 2 boys, and I don't have any regrets personally because it's something that I always thought about. It's something that I planned for it as well, and it's come through.
Yeah. And I remember when we met, those were some of the discussions that we had. Do you want kids? If so, how many kids did you want? And interestingly, we both wanted to have 2 kids. Yeah, we obviously envisioned ourselves having a boy and a girl, but God
Like
had
everyone
other
does.
plans for us. He was like, you are going to be parents to 2 amazing boys, and that's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So, in this episode today, we are going to be discussing a topic that a lot of people might be asking themselves, this is a topic for discussion. When people are together somehow, the topic of to have kids or not to have kids somehow always comes up. And we decided to jump on it and, give it a thought, share what we think about the whole thing. And is it okay to say that you don't want to have kids? Or is it a must for you to have kids?
Exactly.
What are we going to? It's kind of a discussion, and we would really want to hear from you as well.
Yeah, true.
So let's get in. Let's dive in.
Let's dive into it.
Yeah.
Kids, amazing kids.
Yeah.
We have 2 handsome boys, and I appreciate every little thing that happens, within our lives together when we are raising our kids. And it's been a good journey.
Yeah, it has been.
It's been a wonderful journey. And the one thing that actually I appreciate about having kids is the self learning that I get to do to myself. And I believe you do the same because we've talked about it. Having kids is you're raising individuals, like new developing kids that starting from zero, and now it's upon you as a parent to now, give them the teachings that you think or you perceive that are the best teachings that you would want your own kids to have. So it's been a good journey, and we're learning each and every day. It's a learning curve that we get to learn, because some of the times we get through challenges. We go through challenges, and we have to actually do a bit of research to know how to actually understand our own kids, because like we said, they're two developing individuals, and each and every one of them have their own needs, special needs, so it's very good that we have them, and that actually gets us to learn more about ourselves, because our kids makes us learn more, or even develop new tactics and new ideas about and dealing with them. Because some of these ideas and tactics, you might think that if you don't have kids, you might think that it's very easy to actually deal with or handle kids. But then once you find that you're having kids and you're coming up and finding it's becoming a bit tricky to deal with the kids, now you learn different tactics. So it's a learning curve.
Basically, before you get kids and when you get kids, you're two different people. Before, when you don't have kids, you don't have much to think about someone else. Apart from maybe your siblings and your parents, it's just you. But now when you become a parent, there's someone who is entirely reliable on you. Like, they cannot do anything on themselves. You just have to be there. You just have to support with your full capacity. Like, however, anyway, it is interesting for you because you envisioned yourself as a parent. You wanted this. You wanted to be a father, and so despite the hardship that parenting comes with, kids bring in your life, you accept them and you go with them, and you actually put them aside and say, you know what? Oh yeah, I have no regrets. It's hard, but I'm not going to regret this because I wanted it. Simply because you wanted it.
Very true.
That might not be the case for someone else who did not want kids.
Very true.
Not everyone has the same story. Somebody would be so resentful and they're like, why did I do this? What did I put myself into?
Very true,
what is this? And for us, we are like, we appreciate the sleepless nights. We appreciate not going out enough. We appreciate the fact that they are in your mind 24/7. Basically, there's nothing you're doing without thinking about what they're going to eat, how they're going to dress up, school, where are they safe. It's a mental job. It's a full-time job,
It is.
And let's talk about the society. Now, we are happy we have kids, right? But there are a group of people that have decided they do not want to have anything to do with kids. And that is now where the discussion gets hotter. That is when we just, out of nowhere, jump from the pan and get into the fire itself. When that conversation starts, there are certain people who have decided they do not want kids. Child-free. And then now there is us who have kids. And then there's another group where they don't know where they lie on. They are 50-50. They don't know where they stand, really. The discussion starts here.
Very true.
Is it wrong for someone to say they don't want kids?
No. In my opinion, with everything that I've gone through, I feel like in my capacity and in my own understanding, if you are in a position, out of everything, that whether it's something that you've gone through or it's something that you feel like you will go through eventually when you have the kids, and you feel like, I don't want to go through that. It's okay for me to say that because of that reason. It might be just one reason or 10 reasons. But just because of that one reason, I don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm entitled for that.
Yeah.
That is, I'm entitled for that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's perfectly okay for someone to say they do not want kids. And I also feel like people with kids should be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times parents want to impose this idea to people who do not have kids and are saying they don't want kids.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good thing. You don't know what love is until you have a kid. You don't know what you're missing. You don't know.
Yeah.
And let's get to the point where the society has its standards. That every woman and man, when you get to a certain age, especially, you need to now start a family.
Yeah.
What would you say about this?
People who say they don't want to have kids because now they're in a certain society that if they don't have kids, they're perceived as they're not complete or something is wrong with them.
Yeah.
So which is it's more of I'd say maybe even stereotyping, because just because I don't have kids, it's not that I have a problem,
It's just a choice.
It could be a choice.
Yeah.
It could be either. It could be, yes, maybe I have a medical issue, or I'm choosing to be child-free.
Yeah.
But the society out there, and this has come from the way back, because that is how it's been.
Yeah.
When we talk about cultures, because different cultures in our societies have always been like that since way back. Like you get to a certain age, like you said, and then you get to have a family, you get to start a family, you get after an year, people are looking, trying
there's
to
some
see
expectations. There's a plan. They make a plan for you. And I feel like, let me ask you guys, does it make you less of a woman or a man if you decide to not have a child? Answer. Give us your answer down there. Because as for me, I don't think it makes you any less of a person.
No.
I don't think it makes you a bad person.
No, it doesn't.
And now here goes the society that starts guilt-tripping you and telling you, oh, you are so selfish. You're not thinking about the future.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about who will inherit your name, who will do 1, 2, 3, 4 for you when you grow old. And I'm like, if somebody comes to you and says they do not want a child, I feel like that should be accepted. And you are allowed to ask 1 or 2 questions if you're curious about it. Maybe why do you not want kids? And if this person decides to answer you, that's fine. If they decide they're not going to give you any answer, it's just a no, I don't want kids, you shouldn't push harder. You shouldn't keep telling them, oh, why? Oh, like, respect that decision. And I feel like also you should know who you're asking and what is the relationship you have with this person. Because some people are just so ignorant.
And they might find it offensive, especially.
You might ask someone and they get very offended by this question.
True.
So I feel like depending on the relationship you have with that person, you can ask more than 1 question. Sometimes you are not even allowed to ask anything, simply because you know someone and they're married, or they're over 30, or they're in their late 28, depending on when you think they should have a child. Why are you asking them to start with?
To be honest,
how are you going to ask them? Like, do you know this person?
To be honest, I find it very inappropriate when somebody is now, maybe we even haven't met for a while, or maybe it's the first time we're meeting, and then you're jumping straight into the bedroom business.
The bedroom business, like
seriously, what guts do you have, like, for you to start, like, going into my business, in my bedroom business? Like, that's very inappropriate.
I feel like and that is why, part of why we're doing this video is because we feel like it's inappropriate
Yeah.
when someone keeps asking another person. And, sometimes I joke with my friends, I'm like, Bado? Mwingine, because this has become the question that everybody asks you. I don't know if it's lack of conversation, words to talk.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no interesting things you have for me, and the only thing you can ask me is, "Oh, you need another child. Why haven't you're waiting too long? I mean, why is that the discussion? Why are you asking me about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What has that got to do with anything? And you don't know my arrangement. You don't know our plan. But that is the first. After, hi, how are you? The next question is, you should now get another child.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. It has so many times I've been left wondering, okay, what now should I say?
What should you say? Like, why should I even start explaining to
How myself? Do we now move away from this conversation and get into another one?
Yeah. Like, why should I even start explaining myself to you?
Yeah.
Like, why is it that I don't want to have kids, or why is it that number 2 is the number for me, or and why is it that the other person feels like as soon as now you initiate this conversation of, hey, maybe you should be getting another one, like I should be jumping straight into my car and drive home and start making baby. Like, is that what is expected?
Let me ask you,
what is it exactly?
I know, and I'm gonna ask you, ask yourself why you feel the need to ask someone when they're going to have a second born or a third born. You've never, ever babysitted their firstborn.
No.
You've never even asked how they are doing mentally, or how they are coping with the 2 kids they have.
Financially even.
Or even financially, or even how their mental wellness is. And here you are asking them to have number 3. Like, what are you thinking? What do you want this person to tell you? Imagine if maybe they have been trying and they cannot have another child, or they are not even able to afford the children they already have. And now you're here telling them that, you should do it. Every child comes with their own plate. And why are you waiting? You are putting someone or somebody in a very tight corner. You're putting them in the spot. Like, you want them to now start explaining themselves as to why they don't want another child, or if their husband has a problem, you want them to tell you that. Like, why are you asking?
Funny thing is, right?
Why are you asking?
Funny thing is, you might even find that just you asking that question, it will start bringing very bad and sad memories in my mind.
Yeah, you never know.
Because you don't know the kind of traumas I've gone through, me trying to have kids, or the medical processes I've actually gone through for me to try and have this baby.
Yeah.
But you're there, in your own ignorant self, right?
Yeah.
Thinking that you're in a position to start asking me about when I'm going to have my own kids, or when I'm going to have more kids. And you actually are not aware the kind of life I've been living. Yeah,
like you said, you haven't seen someone for like 6 months or even longer than that.
Yeah.
And then when you meet them, that is the only thing you can talk about. Like, if you have nothing else for this somebody, if you have nothing else for this person you're calling a friend, then please don't ask that question. I mean, find something else to talk about. I feel like this is something that should be spoken by people who are very close to each other.
Very true. People who
sorry. If we are very close, you can ask me that. Parents have all the right to ask you, because they are your parents, They can ask you, okay, when is it happening? They can have this discussion with you.
And even so, parents, they can ask once or twice.
Yeah.
Because as well, if it's my decision not to have kids, say I got no issues, I'm deciding to be child-free. Us as a couple, we're deciding to be child-free. Me, I'm okay with it. My partner or my wife is okay with it.
Yeah.
Then we should be able to explain it to our parents that, hey, by the way, we have decided we want to be child-free. We want to have child-free life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, so it extends even to the parents, because sometimes they might be pestering you too much.
Yeah, and I do understand why. And we all do understand why, because
true.
Culturally and from where we come, it's from where we come from, it's like a taboo to say you do not want kids. And I feel like we should sympathize with our loved ones, especially our parents. You know, if you're someone who do not want kids, and this is a question you get every time you visit home, every time you make that phone call, that is the question. I feel like you should understand them and allow them to kind of get to terms. And you might not be able to put a timeline as to how long they're going to be able to accept this. You know, because they want to be named. They want to hold their grandchildren. They want it. They've always dreamt about it, okay? Especially if it's people who value kids and want their, what do you call it?
Like family extension.
Yeah, like the family to continue and their name to be named and all this. Give them time. And this is where we come to. If you have decided to be child-free, have you personally come to terms with it? You know why I'm saying this? Because you could be saying it, but if you have decided and you're okay with it, why then does it offend you so much when somebody asks you that question? It shouldn't. I feel like it's wrong for somebody to pester you. Especially if I have told you once or twice that I don't want kids. If this discussion arises another time when we are in the middle of a discussion and it just arises, that's fine. But you know, when I keep pestering you, obviously you are going to get offended. But again, if somebody who do not know that you don't want kids comes along and asks you, why are you not having kids? Like, why do you get offended by that question? It's just like when somebody comes and say, oh, are you a parent? You have kids, 2 kids. I'm like, this. You know, we are very happy to show off our kids. But if somebody who does not know me and now we're in the same space and they ask me, oh, why is it that you don't want kids? If I'm okay with it, I'm settled with it, I'm fine with it, I shouldn't be offended when somebody asks that.
Because it's expected.
It's expected,
Because if I decide I'm not going to have kids, then say we go into like a family meeting for that matter, you know, or in a social group, and most of the guys have kids, so it's going to probably occur that, hey, by the way, since you don't have kids, what's going on? You know, so I think as well, we need to have that emotional intelligence of actually being able to actually explain it. Maybe it could be not in a lengthy way, maybe just in a very short way of saying you can even lie if you have to.
I don't feel like you should lie. I feel like you should just
get out of the conversation.
No. I don't think you should lie, because why are you lying about it? It's like me lying that I don't have kids when I have them.
So you should be straight up.
You should be straight up.
You should be straight up. I've decided to be child-free and I'm okay with it.
If you've come this far, guys, we would really, really love you to click that subscribe button. Show us your support, because that is what is going to help us grow this channel. We really, really need you to support us. If you love this video so far, also give it a thumbs up. We will really appreciate it. We are also on TikTok. We are on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow us there for short videos and to keep interacting with us more. Let's talk about someone who have decided to not have kids. Why are they explaining too much? I feel like they shouldn't be explaining too much. It's a no. They are not trying to persuade you to understand why. They are telling you they don't want. And that's what you want. So we have a few things in place, like what you should do when you've decided this question is not for you or it's for you, and the answer is a no. I don't want kids. I'm child-free. Stop over-explaining yourself. Especially to people who don't deserve that explanation.
You should be straight up.
No.
You should not be straight up.
I mean, like it's a no. I don't want kids.
That's what I'm saying. It should be straight up answer. So no much explaining.
No much explaining.
Exactly.
How about for the society? How do you deal with it? But that's the society right there.
Well, that's the society, and as you know, when everything, like now everything is evolving. We are all evolving. Now we used to have .coms, and now we're having Gen Z. No, like
before they were called .coms.
Yeah, they were called .coms.
And
like
now
us
it's
when
Gen
we were growing
Z.
up,
Yeah, we
were
.com.
We were .coms, right?
Yes.
We were .coms.
Yeah.
But now there's the Gen Zs.
Yes.
Now the Gen Zs are coming up with all these different social groups, and everyone is okay with everyone.
Yeah.
And so the people who are saying they don't want to have kids, it's okay.
Yeah, and I feel like when we start asking them, oh, have you thought of your future? Have you, you're going to miss out. This person have already thought of all these things.
They are aware.
They are aware that they are going to grow old. This is not something new you're telling them.
Yeah.
They know they will grow old. Okay?
Very true, yeah.
And this also goes to the person who's saying they're going to be child-free. If you find yourself asking yourself, am I really ready? Am I actually okay with it? Have I thought of the future? Think about it. So when you're giving these kind of answers, you know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And because, if today you say you don't want kids, and then tomorrow you meet another group of people, you're like, I'm still thinking about it. And then you're also contradicting yourself.
Very true.
If it's for your parents, you're giving them hopes. So if it's a not straight up answer, they will keep asking.
Very true, yeah.
Oh, so what have you decided? What have you decided?
Yeah.
For the people asking, you need to understand that when people are making their life plans, they've considered everything.
Very true.
And in the future, should they want to have these kids, it's up to them. They will figure it out. Because I feel like we should have some sort of respect when it comes to each other and each other plans in their lives.
Not unless you've seen somebody going astray. Of course, it's okay for you to offer guidance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not having kids is not going astray.
I don't think that's going astray. You don't know what this person could do with kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no idea.
Because they like what we've been discussing, there's so many reasons as to why someone might decide they want to be child-free.
Yeah.
I can give a few, and I'm pretty sure you could give. And so many other people out there, I know they could give a few reasons why they might not want to have kids.
The video we did last was about marriage preparations, how you can prepare yourself for marriage. There are people who will also tell you that, oh, you can't get someone to marry you if you don't want kids.
No.
I mean, is that out of research, or how do you know that?
I don't think
because
that's
like
correct.
You just say, these are some of the things you talk to someone when you meet.
Exactly. When you're dating.
You discuss how many kids, like I said, we discussed, do you want kids eventually? And I was like, oh yeah, I want kids. So that's a tick. So I feel like let's stop giving people ideas and saying things that are out of context and don't exist. Like, you won't get someone to marry you. You are not complete without children. You're not going to be happy without them. Like, I do not know your life. Maybe you are so happy. I feel like some people just want you to be like them, be in the same shoes as them. Because we are parents, we want now everyone else to be parents as well.
So all of us can go into the same group date.
Yeah, so we can also, we can be all in one WhatsApp.
Yeah, one WhatsApp group. Very true.
You don't want to see other people enjoying their life and living. People have careers that they're thinking of.
That's another reason.
Thing.
That's another reason for not, because it is very valid. If I feel like, if I'm going to start a family and I have a child, it will, the child will not make me fulfill my desire in my career or obtaining the kind of qualification or the kind of job, getting the kind of job that I want.
Yeah.
That's a deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker.
It is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with anything.
Because I'll be offering myself to the society in a different way.
Yeah.
In my career.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to have kids for me to be able, to provide, or to play part in the society.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing is, for us who have decided to get kids, we like to be understood too much. Yeah, I'm going to say this. We like to be understood too much. Like, when I call you, because I need a favor from you to babysit the children. If it doesn't happen, we start.
Yeah.
One day you'll get your own kids, you don't understand. We are full of emotions. Same as single parents, single mothers especially, and even single dads.
Yeah.
When they now go out dating and they don't get people, or even when they target someone and that someone ends up saying they don't want someone with kids, we bring emotions up. Like your choices are your choices. You're going to have to deal with them.
Yeah, true.
Don't impose them on other people.
No.
When somebody says, I do not like being around kids, yes, we can go out, but don't bring your kids. Stop judging them and hating on them and saying, oh, you've never had a child, that's why you can talk like that. And as well, if you don't have children, understand and respect those who have them.
Yeah, very true.
It goes two ways. It is both ways. We must find a common ground, because this world, we will always, all of us have to fit in it. Somehow. So we must find a common ground where we respect each other.
Yeah, very true.
If you have kids, make sure that you are in control of them. And for those who don't have them, and you also want to be understood, you will be understood. But also make sure you're not talking bad about those who have kids, because honestly, you have no idea how it feels like.
Yeah, very true.
That is very true. When somebody says you have no idea, you don't have.
You got no idea.
And as well as those who have kids, when those people who want to be child-free tell you you have no idea why they are choosing to be that way, you've got to understand and respect that.
Very true.
That way, it becomes a two-way traffic. No one is blocking the other one. No one is irritating the other person.
Yeah. Finding a common ground, I think, is the best way.
Yeah.
And is the solution for if you want to have kids or you don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
Because for both, there's interruptions in life, and there's somewhere they're gonna collide. Because I might get invited into an activity or a wedding, and it says
no children. Yeah, respect that.
I should not be offended. I should not start cussing out these friends of these people because they're asking me not to bring my kids. What do they expect me to do?
Yeah.
Why did they give me the invite?
If you can't find a babysitter, excuse yourself. It comes down to that.
Very true.
We do have a few tips for people who don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
For people who have kids, and for people who like asking other people this question.
Yeah.
When are you getting a third born? When will you get a fourth born? Why are you not having kids? You're already married. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
I am going to give some tips to those people who like asking this question.
Yeah.
Number 1, hold yourself. Get a hold of yourself and think about it. Is it proper for me to ask this person that I haven't seen for 6 months when they're getting another child? Why not start with, how are you? How have you been? How are the kids doing? The ones that you already have, how are they doing?
Yeah.
How are you physically, mentally, financially? Get to know what they've been up to. How are they coping? Out of all they're going to tell you, you are going to be able to judge if you can ask that question.
Very true.
Get a hold of your emotions. Yes, I know it's the easiest question to ask because probably there's nothing else you guys can talk about or relate, and to pass time and to remove the awkwardness of the situation that we haven't met, now we are here.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? Talk about the weather, please.
Yeah.
Talk about politics. Talk about what is going on around you, the party that you're meeting, and how things have been going.
Yeah.
Just don't ask people, when are you going to get a third born? Why you're waiting too much? Someone is even holding a small baby and you're already telling them to get a third born.
Yeah.
Be serious. The other thing is, like I said, ask yourself, is it proper? What is the relationship that I have with this person that I'm just about to ask?
Yeah.
In fact, those 2 tips sums up everything.
Yeah.
Parents, try to plan ahead, because when you plan ahead, you get to find that you are not putting yourself in some of these social groups that are making you question why you actually had kids, or why you brought your kids. So try to plan ahead. Find a babysitter if you have to find a babysitter, and try and see that you are in the right groups as well, because not every group is kids friendly, because some of the groups out there or some of the functions out there are only for parents or for adults for that matter. So your kids are not allowed. So don't be offended, like we said earlier. You have to be emotional intelligent.
You've said social groups, very important to be in the right social groups.
Yeah.
And also to be contented with the choices you've made in life.
Very true. Oh, that's actually, that's that I think should be the top of the list.
Be contented with the choice that you've made in life. Now, maybe you made your choices and you were expecting your friends are going to make the same choice, but they have not yet. They are not planning to. Stop being resentful. Stop pointing fingers. Stop saying they left you. Stop blaming anyone else. It is your choice. And be happy with it. Be contented with it. You might not be happy with it now, but be contented with it and know that now you're here, now you're a parent, you have to do your due diligence. You have to do what you have to do to take care of them kids.
Very true. And adding on that point, which is very important to know, because when you're planning that you're going to have kids, so we, Faithoverfear, are coming into your screens to let you guys know that when you're going to have kids, this is how it's going to be. It's not going to be easy. You'll have sleepless nights. You will not even be going to as many functions out there like you would want to go. Like, or even like compared to a childless person. So when you're making these decisions,
think twice.
Make them wisely. Make them wisely.
Educate yourself ahead of time. I mean, look into it. And I keep saying, your journey will never be like any other person's journey.
True.
You might look into it as much as you want. You might prepare yourself as much as you want, but you might never be ready enough. Go into this journey with an open mind. If you're going to have kids, get into it with an open mind. I'm not saying don't prepare yourself, but at least have some open mind, because your expectations might be turned ups and down. What you really thought would be might not be. You might go into it with a partner and then find yourself alone. You might go into it having gotten married and discussed everything, and then things change. So go into it expecting that whatever happens, I am the parent who is going to be responsible.
Very true.
When you have that in mind, it won't matter if the other parent comes in or goes out or decides not to help or decide not to be part of the journey. You are going to know that I decided and I'm going to do this and I'm going to remain strong. My other points were for the people who are deciding to be child-free. 1, stop persuading people to see things the way you see them, to see things from your point of view. They won't understand, so tell them. Stop persuading. You're telling. The other thing is stop engaging yourself in confronting discussions. Because someone will say things that are going to really offend you. People will actually feed you things that you don't want to be fed with. People will make you feel guilty for making your choices. You will be told how selfish you are, how you're not following God's commandments, like fill the earth. Everything, you'll hear everything. So stop engaging in confronting discussions with ignorant people who are not willing to actually understand that people make choices, because there are people like that. Number 3 is stop over-explaining yourself. Your decisions are yours. Your reasons as to why you want to be child-free are yours. It's not an obligation that you have for other people to explain to them, to help them understand. To see things.
Choosing to be child-free.
It is your decision, so stop over explaining yourself.
Yeah.
The other thing is that when you make this choice, be contented with it yourself.
Yeah.
Think about everything you need to think about it. So when you're saying this, you are actually aware of what you're saying. And then you don't need to now start asking people, do you think it's okay? Like you're trying to make people justify it for you.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not really sure of it.
Yeah.
So you keep asking people, oh, do you think it's okay?
If you're making the right decision.
Yeah, do you think I'm making the right decision?
Yeah.
No one will ever tell you you're making the right decision when you say you don't want kids.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you might actually want them, and someone else might persuade you not to have the kids because that's what they want.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself struggling to settle with a decision, like if it's a yes or a no, either you see someone who is a professional in that area,
Yeah.
and they will help you sit down and see why you should or you shouldn't have kids. But don't go asking every other person. Don't go asking for people's opinion, because you will get more lost.
Yeah, you'll get misled.
You'll be misled.
Yeah.
Also, have empathy.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to your loved ones. When they keep asking these questions, don't get offended. It's just because they might not be able to come to terms with it.
Very true.
And for example, people like parents, they might actually struggle with it forever.
Yeah.
They might keep reminding you every time. Every
Very
time
true.
you pass a milestone, they remind you. They remind you. Don't get offended. Keep reminding them. Sometimes avoid the conversations.
To recap on what we've been talking about is called child-free movement, and these guys are deciding not to have kids. And what we are saying, or what we've actually researched and gathered, is that it's not like they don't love kids. It's not like they don't love or like kids.
Actually, their friends' kids.
Their friends' kids. They even babysit for a day or two.
Yeah.
But then in their capacity of how much they can spend time with the kids, it's only maybe
a day or two.
A
few hours.
Or a few hours, or even maybe a week. They can babysit your kids for a week, your niece or your nieces.
Yeah.
They can have them for a week.
Yeah.
But that's the much that they can. After that, please come and get your kids. Please go and get your kids, you know.
Yeah.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Because they're humans and they're entitled in their own decisions.
Yeah.
And when they're making these decisions, they're very aware of the consequences of them not having kids in the future.
Yeah. That has got nothing to do with anyone else.
Exactly, yeah.
And let's not impose our ideas and our plans into other people's lives.
Very true,
you know?
Very true, yeah.
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 And I feel like there's room to learn.
Exactly.
It's okay to ask questions. It's okay not to know that it's wrong to ask people these questions.
Yeah.
It's okay to have these discussions and argue them out and try to help the other person see why they should.
Yeah.
But please remember that it is going to go down to it is always going to be someone's decision.
Yeah.
What they want.
Very
so
true.
Educate yourself, learn. Knowledge is power.
If you've come this far, you've definitely enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
Please comment down there.
Yeah.
Share with us what you would what your experiences is in regards to the same topic that we've discussed.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe
and
follow for more.
Yes, please. Until next episode, take care and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.